Have you ever wondered if miracles still happen today? Not just in ancient texts or historical accounts, but right now, in our modern world. From bustling cities to remote villages, people from all walks of life share incredible stories that defy easy explanation. Today, we're going to explore some of these modern-day miracles, powerful moments that have strengthened the faith of believers across the globe. These aren't just tales, they are deeply personal experiences that suggest there's more to our reality than what we can see and measure. So, get comfortable, open your mind, and let's journey into the realm of the extraordinary. Our first story takes us to a small town in Brazil, where a young mother named Maria faced a devastating diagnosis. Her newborn son, Leo, was born with a severe heart condition. Doctors gave him only a few weeks to live, explaining that the complex surgery he needed was far too risky for such a fragile infant. Desperate and heartbroken, Maria turned to her faith. Her entire community rallied around her, holding prayer vigils day and night. They didn't ask for a specific outcome, they simply prayed for a miracle, for divine intervention. Weeks turned into a month, and Leo, against all odds, was still breathing, still fighting. When Maria took him for a follow-up appointment, the doctors were speechless. The scan showed a completely different picture. The defect in Leo's heart, once a life-threatening hole, had inexplicably closed. It was a medical impossibility. The cardiologist, a man of science, could only shake his head and admit, "I have no scientific explanation for this. This is beyond what medicine can do." For Maria and her community, the explanation was clear. It was a direct answer to their collective prayers, a true miracle of healing. Next, we travel to a war-torn region in the Middle East. A relief worker, let's call him David, was part of a team delivering essential food and medical supplies to a besieged village. As they drove through a desolate, dangerous road, their truck suddenly came under heavy fire. Bullets rained down on them from an unseen enemy. David and his team ducked down, praying for their lives, certain that these were their final moments. The sound of metal being pierced was deafening. They were trapped, with nowhere to run, and no way to defend themselves. The attack lasted for what felt like an eternity, and then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped. A deafening silence fell over the landscape. Shaking, they cautiously looked up. They were alive, completely unharmed. When they finally got out to inspect the vehicle, they were stunned. The truck was riddled with bullet holes, dozens of them. The windshield was shattered. Yet, not a single bullet had entered the cabin where they were sitting. It was as if an invisible shield had been placed around them. David, a man of deep faith, recalls feeling an overwhelming sense of peace during the chaos. He believes they were divinely protected, shielded from harm in a situation where survival seemed impossible. His experience serves as a powerful testament to faith in the face of extreme danger. Let's now head to the Philippines, to a coastal village that was directly in the path of a super typhoon. Weather reports were grim, forecasting catastrophic winds and a massive storm surge that would wipe the low-lying area off the map. Evacuation orders were issued, but for many elderly and infirm residents, leaving was not an option. A local pastor gathered everyone who remained into the village's small, humble church. It was an old wooden structure, certainly not built to withstand the force of a Category 5 storm. As the typhoon made landfall, the winds howled with unimaginable fury. Trees were uprooted, and buildings all around them were torn apart. Inside the church, the people huddled together, singing hymns and praying aloud. They could hear the storm raging outside, the sound of destruction all around them. They prayed for protection, placing their lives and their trust in a higher power. When morning came, the storm had passed. They cautiously opened the church doors to a scene of complete devastation. Their village was gone, homes were flattened, debris was everywhere. But the small church, and everyone inside it, stood completely untouched. It was the only structure left standing for miles. The villagers saw it as a clear sign of divine protection, a miracle that saved their lives and preserved their place of worship as a symbol of hope amidst the ruins. Our next story comes from the United States, involving a man named Frank, a firefighter from Chicago. During a massive warehouse fire, a section of the roof collapsed, trapping him under a burning steel beam. His leg was pinned, and the intense heat was scorching him. His oxygen tank was running low, and his fellow firefighters couldn't reach him through the inferno. Frank knew his chances were slim. In that moment of utter despair, he prayed. He didn't pray to be rescued, he prayed for his family, for peace. He described a sudden, profound sense of calm washing over him, and the unbearable pain seemed to fade away. Just then, an unexpected downpour began, a sudden, localized burst of rain directly over the warehouse. This was not in any weather forecast. The rain was so intense, it helped douse the flames immediately around him, giving his team the opening they needed. They were able to get to him and use their tools to lift the beam. Frank survived, albeit with severe burns. His colleagues and the weather station confirmed the freak rain shower, which stopped as suddenly as it began. For Frank, the timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. He believes it was a miraculous intervention, a sign that he was not alone in that fire. From North America, we journey to a remote village in the highlands of Ethiopia. A community was suffering from a prolonged and devastating drought. Their crops had failed, their livestock were perishing, and the local river, their only source of water, had dried up into a cracked riverbed. The people were facing starvation. The elders of the village, devout Christians, called for a day of fasting and prayer. The entire community, young and old, gathered on a parched, dusty hill overlooking their barren lands. They spent the entire day praying, chanting, and asking for God's mercy for the gift of rain. Skeptics might dismiss this, but according to eyewitness accounts from multiple villagers, as the sun began to set, a single, small cloud appeared in the clear sky. It grew larger and darker with astonishing speed. Within minutes, the heavens opened up, and a gentle, soaking rain began to fall. It wasn't a violent storm, but a steady, life-giving rain that lasted for 3 days. It filled the river and saturated the dry earth. The community was saved. They saw this not as a random weather event, but as a direct, miraculous response to their collective faith and heartfelt prayers. Our final story is a quieter, more personal one, but no less profound. It's the story of Sarah, a woman from England who had been estranged from her daughter for over a decade. A bitter argument had created a chasm between them that seemed impossible to bridge. Countless attempts to reconcile had failed. Heartbroken, Sarah, a woman of quiet faith, began a simple, daily practice. Every morning, she would pray for her daughter's heart to soften and for an opportunity to reconnect. She didn't force anything, she just prayed and waited, trusting in a power greater than her own. One afternoon, years into this daily ritual, her phone rang. It was an unknown number. She answered, and a hesitant voice on the other end said, "Mom." It was her daughter. She explained that she had been walking past a park that day and was suddenly overwhelmed with a feeling that she needed to call her mother, a feeling she couldn't explain or ignore. They met for coffee that same day. Tears were shed, apologies were made, and the long process of healing began. For Sarah, this was the miracle she had been praying for. Not a dramatic display of power, but a subtle, powerful miracle of the heart, the mending of a broken relationship that had seemed lost forever. These stories, from different corners of the world, share a common thread: ordinary people facing extraordinary circumstances who turn to faith and witness something inexplicable. Whether it's a spontaneous healing, a shield from danger, protection from a storm, or the mending of a broken heart, these accounts challenge us to look beyond the visible world. Are they coincidences, anomalies, or are they glimpses of the divine, reminders that miracles are still woven into the fabric of our lives? Whatever you believe, these stories of faith, hope, and wonder remind us of the incredible power of the human spirit when connected to something greater than itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. If you have a story of a miracle you've witnessed or heard, I would love for you to share it in the comments below. Let's create a community of hope. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content that explores the wonders of our world. Until next time, stay curious and keep believing.